very much for not seeing my messages and finding the Zoom link. It's really
It's
nice of you.
not that. It's that there are so many messages. And then I just think, let me just go in his personal room. It's got to be the same room for everything. And it never is. And then I just sit in there for 10 minutes before I realize that I'm wrong.
Look, the thing is that the Ken Cloak's birthday celebration, that was the calendar invite which went out, that it's the same link for all the sessions. Not a problem. This is normal. This is normal for me. This has happened to me where people have sent me a message, where's the Zoom link? If they had gone one message before on their WhatsApp also, it was like that. This is normal. This doesn't matter. This is part of life for me, so not a problem. So what we're going to do is, let's just put out what we're doing here, and then let's get into the session. So this is what we're doing, motivation and mediation. And Elyse is going to tell us about this conference, what all has happened, and anything and everything about it. Please, Elyse.
Okay. I need to apologize in advance for some of the topics that we're going to go over today. I was kind of kicking myself last night working on the PowerPoint, having to reread and relearn some very dense material. And I did leave out a lot of it because I don't think that it's necessary for today. But I'm a procrastinator. I don't know if anyone else watching is a procrastinator. So I'm very last minute, and I should not have been so last minute for this material.
Procrastinator and proud of it. But look, the thing is, you have to tell us about the conference, Elyse, about the conference. That first, let's get into that.
Yes, the conference, the World Mediators Conference. We have a lot of great people who are speaking. I know some people are speaking multiple times, like Lisa Valine Thomas is speaking. I think today is her third time, correct? Right after my session.
Yep.
And so people are choosing what they want to speak about. I know originally you were this was supposed to be like our teaser conference, and then we were going to do some educational material later as well. Mine pretty much is all educational today, but I don't think it will span the entire hour, so we can discuss some afterwards as well. And I threw some games in. If anyone actually wants to
Elyse, on the conference. Let's come here.
I know.
Okay. So basically started on the 18th of May with the
on Ken's birthday, which was a wonderful celebration that a lot of us got to join in and actually talk to him and send him our well wishes. And then, yes, a lot of great speakers, and it's going until the 30th.
That's 30th. We have 30th. What we do is we have on the last day learnings and key takeaways, and on that day, maybe we can also discuss the skill development project, because like you said, it was supposed to be a teaser for that, and whatever people were discussing, they'll take it up as their session in that project. So that still has to all come into place. So that, I mean, that's still. The only thing was that I mean, last year it was what, 93 sessions. This year, I just felt let's not have too many, because for me, I think doing all those sessions, the time taken and all the social media posts and everything takes a lot of time.
Right. And I mean, it's still a month and a half. That's a huge conference.
Yeah, but I had to take a little break in the middle. So I did that. And for a week, I didn't have any sessions there. So anyway, so Elyse, it's about you first and then the topic.
Okay. About me. So I'm a family mediator in Florida, Central Florida specifically, but I do all of Florida. I got certified to do anything in Florida. So as long as people are happy with virtual, then I can see you if you're within the state. So that's pretty awesome. Because Florida's a pretty big state. It's a very long state. You know, if you're considering going all the way down to Key West up through the top of it, I think it's over or about an 8-hour drive. So pretty long state. I also do guardian ad litem work, so family guardian ad litem work. I've been going through the process to get certified as a dependency guardian ad litem for months now, and it's been a very long process. I think they're kind of changing their system a little bit and getting it together more so I can get through that. But it's been very slow, so I haven't actually started that yet.
But you have to tell us what is ad litem. You have to tell us about what ad litem is. You have to educate us on every aspect that you talk about, which is anything more than simple words.
Okay, so guardian ad litem, I actually spoke with someone in Canada the other day, and they don't have guardian ad litems there. I just assumed that everyone knows what this term is, but that is someone who comes in on a case. It's a court case that's either paternity or divorce, very contentious. Parents can't get along. They do have minor children involved. They will sometimes take a third neutral party who stays on the case until the cessation of the case. So basically, my job is to go in and conduct an investigation. So I meet with parents separately. I meet with the child. Sometimes it's necessary to see the child or the children separately, especially if it is very contentious. I'm pulling reports. So if there are police reports, educational reports, anything like that, if medical is a concern, I do home visits for that. And then I interview like collateral contacts that the parents want me to interview. I usually do 7 per parent. And so at the end of that, I will create this massive report saying this is what I believe is the best interest of the child when it comes to time sharing schedule, who's determining medical, school, everything like that. And then the judge can either take that a lot into account or not so much into account. So it still depends on the judge, but I'm there helping as best I can.
Great.
So that's fun and interesting work as well.
But Elyse, if all these introductions, the most important one, which a lot of people have done, have spoken about the basic or most important qualification. I'm a mother. That part
I
has
am
to
a
also
mother.
more about
I
that.
am a mother of 2. I am a single mother of 2. I have a 2-year-old girl, Victoria, and a 6-year-old son, Eric. And if you saw my recent video of the Serenity Mediation welcome, that was right here with both of them. I think that was the second take of it that we actually put on the site, but we did try 3 takes. There were some outtakes of it. I sent the outtakes to Michael Lang. And you see me, trying to fix my hair frantically and telling them, if you're not going to sit still, then how are we going to, get our chocolate bunnies or whatever it was.
Why were you taking it so seriously? You took
You
your
felt
video.
that I was taking it seriously?
Yeah, I said, I mean, Victoria was the one to look at. That was that was the enthusiasm we needed.
Yes, the waving, every type of waving she could do.
And the mother was like conscious that, what am I saying? I mean, it was very okay, a little too serious for you.
I'm sorry. I think it was so serious because there were 2 sentences that I knew I wasn't going to memorize. So right under my phone, I have that written out. So I'm trying to not mess up because I knew the more takes that we did, I was going to lose the kids. So it was kind of like, I have to get this done. I have to do this correctly while I have everyone's attention. And I was also watching the video to make sure that you can't see me reading too much. And I like that it's not a great quality video because, I can see it because I'm looking for it, but hopefully it's good. I don't think it's too serious.
Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, are you going to talk about your website, that you have a website?
Sure.
And
yeah, this is the website. This is Serenity Mediation. So this is where I talk about what I do. We've got the video on there. I discuss my background a little bit, like about me and my beliefs of how we should be transitioning, how we deal with family disputes, especially. I'm really focusing on family.
And of course, Elyse has been on these 2 events. Please watch the recording. Go there. You got the link. You don't have to go to the YouTube or to my channel. You can find it here. And let us see, what else do we have here?
So I've added some new stuff on services. I'm excited about this. If you could pull up services.
We're not into your services. We're more into your passion projects.
Okay. My passion projects, I have the dependency guardian ad litem. Of course, I have the World Mediation
that's it.
Circle.
There's nothing beyond this. That's all we need. We're not scrolling down. Let people scroll down.
That's it.
This is it.
No more passion.
No, okay. So please learn about, whatever information about the World Mediation Circle is damn good. Yeah, you've got it all here. I don't have to even go to my website. So perfect. Good. But I think, Elyse, at this point in time, we should get into the topic. I think we should get into the
then
topic.
let me say my one little spiel that you just sped past is that I've added on the site now for pricing is that I offer sliding scale fees for people who are either choosing to do it as pro se litigants, which means without an attorney, or people who are mediating outside of the court. So you can come to me with these disputes. It does not have to be a court case. And so the sliding scale fees are based on income. They're very, very reasonable when it comes to private mediation. I mean, it's like a third or less of the typical cost.
But now look
So
at
it's
the
almost as cheap as court costs.
but look at the interesting thing.
Court mediation.
You can mediate in India or in a lot of other countries, and I think most other countries, but you can't mediate in you can mediate in, of course,
Yes.
in your court system you can't, but otherwise you can. Of course, otherwise you can get it anywhere in the United States, but it's only in the court system, it's only Florida for you. That's what the situation. Okay. Perfect. That's an issue by itself. Okay. So
I'm really excited about those sliding scale fees though.
So nice of you to do that.
Yeah.
So let's go into motivation and mediation.
Let's do it. Okay, let me share my screen.
Yes, that was quite a long introduction, Elyse.
You wanted it.
No, I just wanted people to get to know you. That was the idea. Your content they can watch in the project and everything. So yeah.
So this thing is always in the way, so then I can't click. There we go. All right, motivation and mediation. Again, I apologize for some of these. There are some games. I guess it's just going to be you and me, Vikram, doing
always.
the games.
It's always you and me, Elyse. It's all.
Okay. So some of the things I'm going to talk about, functions of behavior. So this is like going back to symposium number 5, where I did behavior analytic concepts or constructs and something to do with language and mediation. I do have to touch on that just a little bit, so people that haven't seen that aren't totally lost, but I'm going to go, it's not going to be nearly as in-depth as the other one. But if you want to, go back and watch that from symposium 5, and that will give you a lot more information, because this is kind of jumping into a more in-depth topic. All right, so let's go ahead and do the functions. Vikram, do you remember these?
You think I even listen to what's happening? No.
Okay. All behaviors occur for a reason. I challenge you to try and find a behavior that does not occur for some sort of reason. If you can think of one, call me or email me or text me and we'll debate about it. So we have escape, which is when you're trying to get away from something aversive. So think about, you have kids at the house and they're blasting the radio. You're trying to work. It's too loud. That's something that's aversive. It's unpleasant. And you want to stop that. So you go up and you turn off the radio. And then that stops the aversive sound. That's going to then reinforce your behavior of turning off the radio. You now know, okay, this is what I have to do in order to stop the radio, to stop the sound. And then access to preferred stimuli. It could be getting an item or a thing or some kind of setting, any kind of stimulus you're trying to obtain. So an item from the store, you reach your hand up, you pick up the item, you put it into your cart or your basket or your bag or whatever you're using. That's the behavior right there. It's very small, but then that is reinforced. You extend your hand, you clasp your hand, grab the item. That little behavior chain is then reinforced because you got the item into your cart. Attention, that's when you want attention from another person or another living thing. So, I mean, it's something as simple as yelling out, hey, you, or hey, Vikram. If you then look at me, then that behavior is reinforced, that worked. Automatic, sometimes also called sensory. Positive is just meaning positive as addition. So massage was the one thing that I thought of, but then I thought that could be either. So massage, you're getting that stimulation, and that's something that's adding to your body, right? Or it could be that you're in pain and the massage is pain attenuation. It's removing the pain. So in that case, it would be negative. Pain attenuation can also be taking aspirin, sitting in the shower, whatever you do to relieve pain. Scratching an itch, not that that's pain, but it's negative reinforcement. Okay, so let's do a active responding question. My son recently discovered Pokemon cards from other kids on the bus. This is all true. He asks me if he can have Pokemon cards for his birthday. I respond, you'll have to wait and see. On his birthday, he receives the cards. What is the probable function of my son asking me for Pokemon cards? Vikram?
Please answer this. Please do this for me. Don't ask me.
Come on. I'm retesting everyone's knowledge to make sure we're all on the same page for the next sections.
Don't do this to me, please.
Okay, so That's right. You got it. It's access. He wanted to access the Pokemon cards.
Because there are too many
Okay.
answers. A lot of all these come up with a lot of answers, and there'll be a lot of discussion on that. So I won't get into this.
Let's move on a little bit to reinforcement and punishment. If you do remember this, then let's just quickly go through it. Reinforcement is the presentation or removal of a stimulus that increases the future frequency of the behavior. And I know reinforcement is this huge, broad term that people talk about, but when in practice, when you actually use it, you're reinforcing each tiny specific behavior. We don't want to be overly general when we talk about these terms. Positive reinforcement is when something desired is added to the environment. Negative reinforcement is when something aversive is removed from the environment. Both of those things are going to increase the future frequency of behaviors. Punishment is the opposite. So it's the presentation or removal of a stimulus that decreases the future frequency of the behavior. So positive punishment, these things are going to be different for everybody, for each behavior as well. So something that is a punisher to one person for one behavior may be a reinforcer to another person or to another behavior. So it's mind-blowing, and it's very interesting to me. So here we go, same example. He sees these kids playing the Pokemon cards. He asks me if he can have them for his birthday. I say, you'll have to wait and see. On his birthday, he receives the cards. Was his behavior of asking for the cards reinforced or punished?
That's a tough one. No chance. I'm not going to get into it at all. It's a really tough question.
All right. So Vikram, you got it. It's reinforced. You're putting my behavior of asking you, you're extinguishing that. You're not giving me any reinforcement. So I'm probably going to stop that behavior.
You know what I have to do while I'm listening I'm kind of listening to you also, but Michael Lang sent me a mail that he's trying to get into the session. He's not got the right Zoom link.
Oh, well, good. Then Michael can answer.
Yeah. So I just sent him the Zoom link, and I will check his emails. I'm sure he's got the email. He's got the Zoom link somewhere. So this is my life.
Perfect. Okay, good. Because I have some games coming up in between the two really dense sections. We're going to do some games.
Yeah. So let's just.
Okay, motivating operations. This is also called MOs in our field. So I know you've also heard that as modus operandi, things like that, the reasons we do things. In behavior analysis, we break it down into establishing operation, or an EO, which increases the current effectiveness of a reinforcer. So think about food deprivation. If you have already been deprived of food, once you engage in the behavior that gets you the food, that reinforcer is going to be much more rewarding than it would be otherwise. So the flip side is the abolishing operation, the AO, decreases the current effectiveness of a reinforcer. So if you've just eaten a huge meal, food's not going to be that important to you. I see Michael coming in.
Yep.
Awesome.
You needed him, didn't you, to answer questions? Michael, we were waiting for you. All those questions that Elyse has to ask, you have to answer. That's the format last time. This is the format here.
My punishment for being late?
Yes, your punishment for not asking for the Zoom link earlier.
There aren't that many more questions. There's one more question, and then we have 3 games.
The thing Michael, why you didn't get the Zoom link was because you were supposed to give me the topics, and you were going to get the Zoom link when you sent the topics. The topics didn't come, so the Zoom link didn't go. I don't think you have sent you the Zoom link earlier. So yeah, maybe. No, of course I have. Ken's session, Ken's birthday celebration. I sent you the calendar invite. The Zoom link was there. Yep. Oh, I'm okay then. I'm okay now. Now I'm okay. I just thought maybe I haven't sent in the Zoom link. Yes.
Oh, my error.
Yep.
Let's not delay Elyse any longer. To chastise me.
It's all right. Okay, so this is a really cool study where you can actually see the effects of the deprivation and the satiation conditions. So these were two participants, Donnie and Sam. As you see on the left side of the graph, we have responses per minute. The underside is sessions. And then your different conditions are baseline, which is nothing is happening. That's just your behavior without any kind of reinforcement or anything. And then the satiation, so they did this with social attention. in the satiation conditions, they had received a ton of attention prior to the tasks. So getting reinforcement in the form of attention was not that reinforcing. Deprivation, you see the frequency is much higher. Their rates of responding is higher because they had been deprived of attention. I think it was 15 minutes before they did these conditions. And I mean, that's a beautiful graph. If you're someone who likes to look at graphs, you're really seeing the change and the effectiveness in deprivation and satiation conditions. And that was Vollmer and Iwata in 1991. Do this. Okay, so here's the same one again. Michael, did you see this question before you logged in?
Michael? No, Michael is.
Oh, I'm just reading it. So no,
Okay.
I haven't.
I won't read it again then.
Yeah.
So what is the establishing operation in this example? And what I mean by that is, what is going to increase the effectiveness of him getting the Pokemon cards?
Well, it's really interesting because I wouldn't have looked at it that way. I would have looked at it as what he has learned is to ask and then be patient, and be hopeful.
Yes, you're right. That behavior was reinforced. But if you look a little prior to that too, I would think that he's been seeing other kids playing with these cards, seeing them
Right.
having fun. He's not engaged in the activity and wants to be. So that's kind of like, that's our deprivation condition right there. He's not able to play with the cards. He wants them. That will make getting those cards more reinforcing than if he already had Pokemon cards at home.
Right. It's both the cards and the relationship with his friends.
But what it does establish is that Elyse is a good mother. She does think about it. I think that's the reinforcement that's happened for him.
And is there an abolishing operation? Possibly. Me saying you'll have to wait and see could be an abolishing operation. Probably not. It's probably more of an establishing operation. Like, oh, I have to wait even longer. I'll have to see what comes on my birthday. That's kind of exciting, right?
Yeah.
So we can't know for sure. It's not a study, obviously. So let's go into value altering and behavior altering effects. Value altering effect. I bolded some of this so we can really focus on the bold term because it is a hefty definition. A value altering effect is either A, an increase of the reinforcing effectiveness of some stimulus, object, or event, in which case the MO is an EO, or B, a decrease in the reinforcing effectiveness, in which case the MO is an AO. So the main thing there to remember is the reinforcing effectiveness. That's the value. It's changing the value of the reinforcer. Okay, so again, go back to food deprivation and food ingestion. It's going to change how important food is to you and how reinforcing it is. Behavior altering effect is essentially the same definition, just swap out those bolded phrases. So it's an increase in the current frequency of behavior or a decrease in the current frequency of behavior. So that's when we get into, oh, I guess, okay, so here's our brain break before we get into the heavier stuff. So these are a few games that kind of talk about motivation, and they're just fun games. I actually took a picture of the first ones because I didn't want to have to come up with them on the spot. Have you guys played Would You Rather before? Would you rather do such and such or such and such?
Maybe sometime in life.
The question is, would we rather play the game?
Yeah, well, I printed, I'm not printed some out, but I got a picture of some, so I didn't have to come up with them on the spot. Would you rather be 11 feet tall or 9 inches tall?
That's a tough one, Elyse. That's a real tough one. Michael, any answer, anything coming up for you?
Yeah, I think I'd choose to be 9 inches tall.
And why?
Shorter would allow to get around, to see things in a micro level. It would just be sort of an interesting to have that kind of perspective. Being 11 feet tall would just be such an, I mean, either one is going to be an oddity, but nothing in life is created for people who are 11 feet tall. It would be very, very difficult to get out and around. If I were 9 inches tall, I wouldn't worry about clothing. If I were 11 feet tall, I would, for example.
If you're 9 inches tall, you'll be worried about how soon you're going to become the food for someone close by. So,
That's, well, I wouldn't have an animal as a pet, that's for sure.
you would, but they'll be allowed around. I mean, sometimes, I mean, I was just watching this crow picking up a squirrel's baby now on our course today. Really, I mean, it just goes like that. 1 second and the baby's gone. So 9 inches,
Right.
not so helpful, Michael.
No.
Well, what about you, Vikram?
I can't even imagining any of the two is a little too much. 11 feet tall. I think I'll have, the whole house changes. Do I even get into my own house? I don't know. Look, I mean, come on, Elyse. That's a tough one. Of course, you have other things that you're gauging from this. What are they going to say? What that 11 feet? Don't do this to us. You're analyzing
Right.
us. You're analyzing
We're
us.
assessing people's motivations. If I just left it with, if I just left Michael to say 9 inches tall and I didn't ask why, then I would have no idea why. I'm showing everyone why it's important to actually speak to our participants and each other and to find out why and what we're thinking. Because Michael, I agree with you. I would choose 9 inches because of everything you said, and also because of the health problems associated with giantism, I think is the correct term. Because, people who are 8, 9, 10 plus feet usually don't live that long and have difficult lives. So, yes.
It's a weird choice. That's all.
It is. I laughed at that one. I liked that one. Okay. Would you rather have a personal maid or a personal chef?
You go first on this one, Vikram.
I would go with chef.
And why?
I can do the other stuff. Or maybe at this point of time, maybe at one day, maybe I'll be able to do the cooking. But good chef, Elyse. We need a good chef. Only then am I going to do the other stuff.
That's right. You don't want somebody whose principal training came at McDonald's.
Yes, Michael. What about you?
I would choose a chef as well. Not just because cooking is something that happens repeatedly. Cleaning is sporadic. It's irregular. I could do a little bit of cleaning one day, then do another room the next day. But with cooking, I have to eat every single day and multiple meals. So that's why I would choose cooking, a chef.
Okay. And I would also choose chef because I have so much on my plate. And one of those is cooking for myself and my kids every meal. There's no other adult to cook for me. So if someone takes me out to a restaurant or something like that, it is such a nice experience for me to have someone else cook for me.
Of course.
It's great. It takes some off of my plate. And so I think it's really interesting that we all said the same thing, but for different reasons. Look how much we just learned about each other from that.
And look what it puts back on your plate.
Literally.
So
that's right.
So what Elyse wants us to do is we should have these sessions where we should get to know each other through the various questions that Elyse is going to pick out for us. Elyse, we'll do that session. Right. I think we should do that.
I think so too. It's kind of like icebreakers. The next one is hot takes. So that's when you're basically voicing an unpopular opinion that you hold. I put 2 of mine up here. I'll start with one of mine. That I am not a fan of and have never been a fan of and will probably never be a fan of art or museums. I know that probably makes me look odd.
No, I'm on the same boat. I'm on the same boat.
Unworldly or something, but I would rather just walk outside than go to a museum.
I'll give you my example. I mean, we were in Paris. We're outside the Louvre. I'm telling my daughter to go in. I said I'm not going to go in. I would rather be on the boat going up and down the river than go to the museum.
Yes.
So I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't like walking into them.
Mhm.
But Michael, please.
Well, the problem is that you've set it up as a dichotomy, either museums or walking outside. I do both. I love to go to museums. I find the artwork inspiring. I learn something. I learn something about myself. And the same thing happens when I'm outside, walking in the park or along the beach. Very different experience. I think what also, as long as we're doing self-revelation, it probably, I'm sure that I'm influenced in my view because my parents had artwork all over our house. My mother was an artist. My brother is an artist. One of my children is an artist. One of my other children is an art historian. So it's a real presence in my life, and I love it. And the artwork that I have in my house and the pieces, some of which are just there because they're beautiful, like this piece behind me, and some because they're evocative of a memory of a time, a place, people. So,
And what about
very long answer.
Can I also point out these pieces at the back, which my wife makes, these art pieces. So I have these creative people around me. So maybe I have.
Are they for sale on your website, Vikram?
I think that's the only way I'm going to get funding.
No, don't put that out there. Don't put that thought out there.
Yes, it is. So,
Okay. Another hot take that I'll share, but I want to hear what some of your original hot takes as well. Since having children, I no longer like dogs for the most part. And I know that probably also makes me seem like an odd human being, but my son has been bitten in the face multiple times by a dog, leading to bleeding. And my daughter has been chased by and then, tried to scratch up her back another dog. So my children are more important to me than these random strangers' dogs. And it's kind of generalized to all dogs.
I think you're associating with the wrong people, Elyse.
You know what?
She's in the wrong neighborhood.
Yeah,
That's
some
right.
people, one of them, they talked to them about it and they said that they don't want to train their dog, that they just want their dog to be happy. So fine, but I'm not a fan of untrained dogs. Let me say that.
Okay, but I think brain break, we should have asked people to put their, okay, doesn't matter. I think we didn't do that. We could have told people to put their, whatever they wanted to put down. It doesn't matter. I think we'll maybe do that later sometime. We'll do a session.
What are you saying? What are you saying, Vikram?
I was just thinking that let people join into this game. I didn't know there was going to be a game. I should have put it out there. So
I said that in everywhere that I posted this. I said, patrons, feel free to be in the session because we'll be doing some exercise.
You know how many patrons there are. Elyse, you know that. Don't even do that. In Patreon, you have an option of telling people how many patrons there are. I have hidden that option because I feel embarrassed. So
no, well, I
but
thought
both of you are. But let me say,
first
of all, both of you are, and it's really nice of both of you to be. So thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. I didn't know if Lisa would jump in since her session is next as well. Okay, the third one. Let's go ahead and do this. This is another sharing one. I like you because. So this one, let me think for a second before I just go and do it. So it's just one thing that we like about each other.
Am I going first?
Sure.
For me, it's very simple. For me, both of you, the beautiful souls that you are, that's what I like about you.
Thank you. Vikram, I like you because I feel like you give more than you take. And I think that's commendable. And Michael, I like you because you've shared some of your life with me. And when you shared some things with me, I actually had feelings about them. And then I found myself leaving our meeting still thinking about what you had said, and then trying to equate some of those things to my own life. So it was a thoughtful experience to meet you.
Good. Elyse, that what I love is your passion for. I really like that. I think that your enthusiasm, and the energy that flows from the enthusiasm for whatever it is, whether it's for work, for your children, for your life. And Vikram, what I really like is how easy it has been to be a friend with you. I feel and felt from the outset instantly comfortable, trusting, and as a result, it makes me want to be to give back equal to that.
That's very nice. But it's been lovely, just lovely knowing both of you. It's been so, I mean, like I said, it's just like you said, it's just comfortable being there. And this is where it comes from. When you're with beautiful souls, with wonderful people, it's just such a nice energy that you get. And that's, for me, that's what it's all about. Right? Everything that I do, it's all about that nice, positive energy that you take back with you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, could you imagine something like this happening in a mediation? And how great that would be?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, that's the mediation that I talk about. That's exactly what it has to be. Like I said, I mean, this is something that you get the right people who actually believe in the same thing, with both of you do. And that's the way you look at mediation also, and which is what Michael looks at mediation as. And I was just telling someone today only, Michael, about how you look at the way things have gone in the US in relation to mediation and the transactional aspect of it, and how you have not been very happy with it. So I'm going to get you to meet that person and tell that person also about what you're feeling, because she's in the US and she felt, I mean, whatever I was saying, she said, no, that's the way it is. It's not that transactional thing. I said, no, I mean, maybe you're practicing it like that, but that's not the way it generally is.
No, it's not. It's not what I've seen at all. It's typically what I've seen from observing other mediators is that people are immediately in separate rooms. Whether they have attorneys or not, it's a team. There's this person and their attorney, and this person and their attorney. And then the mediator bounces back from room to room. There's no actual relationship or discussion or anything between the participants. It's just immediately, let me split you off. And I feel like that kind of sets the tone for the mediation of that these people are fighting. These people can't get along. They don't agree. And why are we continuing to do that if that's not what we want? If our goal is to bring them together to some sort of agreement, why would we split them up at the beginning?
Yeah,
I know it's different if there's domestic abuse involved.
Yeah, Elyse, I'm resisting the temptation to answer that, because I would end up using all the rest of your time.
Yeah, you should watch
email me.
You can watch Michael's session in my events. Some of them he's really spoken about that. I don't know. Now with Michael, I don't remember which event, because
I know. One of those conversations we had. So Elyse, I have a question. Why did we do the brain break?
Because this past section, the learning section, and this next section are very dense, I felt like. So I wanted to put this in the middle. Originally, I had this to be at the end of my session, but I think it's more effective here because we get a break. Why in general did we do it? I really like doing exercises when I do sessions.
I'm interested in the thought process as you designed your presentation, as you were thinking about it. You chose to do this kind of an activity, and it must have, in your mind, it must have a purpose, a value, a significance, irrelevance. And I just was curious.
Yeah, I think it helps us to see each other's motivation and to talk about why we should dig a little deeper.
And also, I think maybe she wanted me to be involved in it, all that technical and hyper technical thing that she was doing. She said, okay, Vikram also should have something to say. He should feel involved. Thank you very much, Elyse. It was really nice of you. Now you're going to go back into that other part, which maybe I'll have to look at something else while you're doing that.
Now I'll go back to the next one, and you can go back to doing what you need to do on your phone or over here.
Exactly. Exactly.
Whatever you're doing. Okay, so the next. I think I turned my keyboard off. Here we go. UMOs versus CMOs. That's unconditioned motivating operations and conditioned motivating operations. So I know we didn't talk about that too much in Symposium 5 as far as, I'm blanking on the term right now. Like an unconditioned stimulus versus a conditioned stimulus. I think I only brought it up for one little slide and just to say what it was about Pavlov's when they were doing the conditioning. Do you guys remember that at all?
That's one question you're not going to ask ever.
It's okay if you don't. Okay, so our unconditioned motivating operations are UMOs. So think about reflexes. Behaviors that we engage in without even meaning to, without even trying to. We're not taught to do these things. They just happen. Someone hits a certain spot on your knee and your leg goes out. Or you start to eat and you salivate because salivation is the first step in digestion. It's just things that happen in our bodies. So these main 9 that we talk about are food, water, or having to do with food, water, oxygen, physical activity, sleep, sexual behaviors like environmental features as far as temperature and light, I know can affect women's, I can't think of the word right now, like a women's ability to conceive at the time. And then also hormonal changes, temperature changes, and painful stimulation. So a lot of behaviors having to do with those main 9 are not learned. They're just something that we're born to do. And then our conditioned motivating operations is what we have learned to do over the years that we've been alive. So that is like Pavlov, where he conditioned the dog to respond to the sound, to salivate to the sound of the bell, because he paired the bell with the food. And those change the effectiveness of the reinforcer due to learning. So money, clothes, things like that, those otherwise would not mean anything to us. Money is just paper, numbers on a screen, coins. But because over the years we've learned that money can obtain all of these other things that we want and need, that is now a CMO. Same thing for clothes. There are some cultures that don't even wear clothes. You know, there's that one island, I can't remember what it's called, but do you remember that the island they discovered? And it's a tribal island.
Yeah, we have that here. Of course, at the exact island, I won't be able to tell you the name, but it's called, these are called the Andaman and Nicobar Islands that we have as part of India, where we have this whole tribe, or these people not touched by humanity at all. And
right.
We've left them like that. We've left them like that. No one's going to go there. So it's, so we have that here.
Yes. I remember seeing some of the videos. I think someone was killed because they tried to go up to the island and they were, throwing spears.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. So not many clothes that you see in places like that. But here we've learned there's fashion, which is something that exists, which is just a concept that isn't even real. And then there's necessity and different clothing for different types of events, like casual and formal, and it's become something that's an MO, but wouldn't otherwise be, except for what we've learned in our specific area that we live. And motivation and mediation, I just want to kind of put everything together. Why does this matter in mediation? So some of the behaviors we want to see in mediation from our participants: speaking, active listening, taking turns, agreeing, appropriate vocal volume, eye contact. That list could go on and on and on. Those are the things that we want to see. Those are the things that probably are going to lead to some sort of effective agreement and communication. If participants have been fighting before walking into your office, is it likely that they'll continue this behavior or mindset during mediation? Probably. So how can we stop this? There are millions of variables that we can't control. There are some that we can. So also think about setting events like hunger, thirst, sleep deprivation. If someone's walking into a mediation and they maybe skipped breakfast and lunch, then they may be less likely to want to agree with another person and to have some sort of healthy conflict. How can we alter the environment for their success? Some of these things, I mean, I know also this is a tiny list and it could go on and on and on, but offering snacks and drinks, having a nice ambiance, you know, if you have a flickering light that could cause someone to have a migraine, we never know. And I think I wanted to start doing some handouts, like what to do the day of a mediation, how to use I statements. Are you guys familiar with I statements?
Please tell us, Elyse. Don't even ask that question. Never ask this. Just go straight and tell
I
us.
statements are something that is really effective if you're arguing or having some kind of conflict, to speak from your own perspective. You don't want to say, well, you did such and such, whether there's that much aggression in your tone or not. You were doing such and such. He did blah, blah, blah. I felt like when you did blah, 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 or I experienced such and such. Speak from your own perspective rather than issuing blame to another person. Strategies are healthy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to, if you don't mind, I'm going to challenge you a little bit.
Go ahead.
With this idea. It isn't so much that I disagree with anything here, but I think that there's something that's even far more important in terms of motivation. That's all. There's nothing on this list with which I would disagree. It's what's missing. And
well, do tell.
Yeah, I'm not going to make it a mystery. This isn't 20. We're not going to now jump into the game called 20 Questions, Elyse. Think about our host. And think about what Vikram does that nurtures our motivation to be here, our motivation to present, our motivation to want to be at our best when we are with, and I don't mean to be talking about you in the third person, Vikram, but I hope you understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not trying to speak as if you're not here with us. That's a very powerful motivator that far too many of us pay no attention to. And we focus on things like snacks, drinks, ambiance, all of those other structural elements, every one of which has value. And what has real value is when I have a presence in the room, not a commanding presence, not a presence over somebody, but a presence that says, let me tell you what this process is about. Let me invite you to participate. Let us find a way that we can work in some fashion or another together. If I can create an attitude about that, then that has a monstrous effect in terms of motivation. That's all. And maybe it was coming up on the next slide and I jumped in too quickly, Elyse.
No, I like it. I feel like Vikram has created a worldwide spider web where he's connected all of us.
Yep.
You've fostered so many relationships.
And it's been
It's
very
wonderful.
enjoyable doing that. Yeah, it's been, yeah, thank you.
It's curious that I'm, Elyse and Vikram, I read to my grandchildren who are in Germany. So, you know, I have to do it in this fashion. And I'm reading them Charlotte's Web, the story about this magnificent spider and the glorious web that she constructs. So it's on my mind. And I think you're, as a metaphor, that really works for Vikram as well, and what has happened in our profession as a result, Vikram, of everything that you have done and continue to do.
Nice to hear these nice words. Thank you very much.
Michael, have you seen the movie as well?
No, No, my grandkids have, so they keep saying, yes, yes,
You gotta see the movie.
yeah.
It's
But
very
they still want
touching.
they've seen the movie, but they still want me to read the story.
Yeah.
There's something about the process of reading aloud to one another, in their case, children, but I used to read all the time to my wife. You know, it was one of the ways in which we connected as well. So, all right.
So basically, you have to read stories to us now, Michael. Please do that. We should
All right.
we'll have those sessions.
Right. Books on Tape by Michael Lang.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll read you mediation stories.
Yeah, interesting ones or whatever. As part of Mediator experiences, Boniswa was here and then she's disappeared. Boniswa, hi. Of course, I don't know her, but
Are we at we're almost at our time. I think this is my last slide. Handouts, asking. I'm just a big, yes, that is. I'm a big proponent for asking people what they want and need. I think that's a huge thing that we don't do very often. I don't think I started doing that until I started doing mental health sessions with people.
but I think at least we have to move that plus before the one. This is not Victoria's one.
My one typo on the whole presentation.
No, it just looks very nice. 1 + 4.
So it's +1 and then another dash.
No, it's like a game. My number is actually 408, and I've put it up as 1 + 409 because the games that Elyse likes to play.
I'm not used to writing it in an international sense like that. Here it's just the 407. So I couldn't remember if it was 1 plus or +1.
Like I said, if someone knew you and said all the games that Elyse likes to play, that person would be dialing 408. Okay, so Bonis was having a problem connecting her with the audio.
I can stop you two for a second from being so playful. Let me offer one last observation. Maybe it won't be the last, who knows. That what you just said, Elyse, about working with people and about asking them. It is a matter of the mediator's mindset about her role and about the nature of mediation. And it's the difference between mediating with and mediating upon somebody. This is what I talked about with Vikram before about the transactional mediators. That's what you feel like. That somebody has taken, in the same way that a surgeon takes over, necessarily so, or a judge takes over, instead of working with people, a lot of the mediators take over, and you feel as though you're being pushed through a process over which you have you have zero control over the process, which is wrong in my view. And limited control over the outcome, despite what we say.
Yes.
So that's that's the end of my sermon for today.
And what we're going to do is, basically, at least what you need to do is, we have some time, 3-4 minutes maybe. Lisa's joining. Of course, she does normally take some time to join, but please ask her some questions. Let's play the game with her also. Anything?
With Lisa?
Yes.
Who is on the screen that says Boniswa?
Boniswa, of course, I think, Lisa might have invited her. I think I'm connected to her on LinkedIn. So Boniswa is also in South Africa. And so Lisa must have invited her for her session, maybe. Good.
Okay.
But Boniswa, you can try putting try unmuting. I'm sure. Boniswa, you want to join us?
Hello, how are you guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can't see you. We would like to see you also.
Okay, let me.
And then Elyse is going to ask you some questions and you have to give us honest answers to those questions. Yes, Elyse, go, please. Look, she has to be, let's not say punished, but okay, in a way, be punished for being here. If we have been...
Is that the correct way to say your name?
Yes, it's Boniswa, yes.
Fun spot. Okay. Would you rather be 11 feet tall or 9 inches tall?
Ooh, 11 feet tall. In South Africa, we use centimeters. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe 11 feet tall. I don't know.
Why? But you have to tell us why.
That would
Why
be-
is
Yeah,
the
tell us
important
why.
part?
Vaniswa, that
Yeah,
would be about 3.5 meters.
I'm not sure. I
And
don't
we were-
know why I'm choosing that. So yeah.
Yeah, we were asked the same question. Just so you know, you're not being singled out.
I've never been asked that kind of question, so my mind is
Oh.
blown.
Okay, I have another one then.
Okay.
Let me pull it back up. Would you rather have a personal maid or a personal chef?
A personal chef.
Yeah.
It's like this
And
is
why for
universal.
that?
I love food, for starters. I love food. So anything else I can do for myself, but if someone can cook for me full time, then yeah, I'm good to go.
But,
Yeah.
but Vaniswa, what I said was it has to be a good chef, not just a
Yes.
chef. Yeah. We
Not
want
just
good
a chef,
We're
a
not going
good
to
chef, I agree.
compromise on doing work because of
Yes.
any chef.
Agreed.
Okay, Lisa.
Vaniswa, where are you in South Africa, please?
I'm in the Northwest Province, a little town called Vryburg.
Okay.
Yes.
And Vaniswa, you got the Zoom link through Lisa.
Yes, I'm on Lisa's team.
So now I have to tell Lisa, you don't hand out these Zoom links. These are only for panelists. Now, Vaniswa, you will have to participate in the conference. You have to then suggest a topic and talk about it. Only those people are allowed in the Zoom session.
Yeah, I see now.
Yeah. So
I sent all the other links as well. So
why, Lisa? This is supposed to be only for panelists.
no, the social media, all the social media links.
You say, but you haven't sent out the Zoom link to everyone, have you?
That was in the email that I forwarded to her. So I think,
No, Zoom. No, I'll tell you why. Because if people want to participate, the idea of having only panelists is please participate. Anyone can, everyone can. I mean, of course, the people that I would ask, I would not let anyone participate. That's a different.
Yes.
But you can,
Okay.
Vaniswa. Think of a topic and
Okay.
please participate.
Got
Okay,
it.
we don't have too much
Okay.
time now. What we're doing is Elyse is going to wrap up a session. Elyse, any concluding remarks or anything that you want to give, which means really thank me for whatever I do. That's what it is, but
Yes, of course. Thank you for hosting this as always. You're one of my favorite people, and thank everyone for being here. Michael, I appreciate you coming in and doing the games with us. It's always nice to see you.
yes.
Thank you, Elyse.
And Lisa was listening to us. You know that. That's why she came in late. She said, I'm going to be asked those questions. I know that. Okay, Lisa, tell us that. You did not come in earlier because of that.
I was busy interviewing new team members, so I was mad rush.
Perfect. So I'm going to stop this recording, get into your session, and we'll continue our conversations. Thank you very much, Elyse. Always a pleasure seeing you and conversing with you. Thank you.